Most women over 50 who tell me they eat pretty healthy are eating about half of the protein they actually need. They know they need to eat more protein, but nobody ever told them how much or when. You have coffee and maybe a piece of toast with avocado in the morning, and then a salad at lunch, and then most of your protein for the entire day, and sometimes all of it, happens at dinner. And then you can't understand why you're losing muscle, why you're softer and squishier than you used to be, why the scale does not budge, and why you're starving at 9 o'clock at night. I'm Dr. Rachel Felber. I'm an ER physician and a strength coach for women. And if I were 55 and watching my muscles slip away, this is exactly how I would eat. The number I would hit, the meals I would make, and the 4 rules I would not break. And make sure to catch rule number 2 because it happens in the first 60 minutes after you wake up, and it sets the tone for your entire day. Quick note, I am a doctor, but I am not your doctor. This video is for general education. It's not medical advice. Please talk to your own doctor before you make any significant changes to your nutrition, especially if you have kidney disease or any other chronic condition that can affect how you process protein. All right, let's get into it. First, you need to understand why your protein needs change after about 50, because it's not in your head. When you were 30, your body was very forgiving. You could eat mediocre amount of protein and your muscles would still repair themselves just fine. But like so many other things, that efficiency fades. And as estrogen declines through menopause, your body becomes much less efficient at turning the protein you eat into actual muscle. This is called anabolic resistance. And this is the reason the same diet that worked for you at 35 is no longer working at 55. So what that means in practice is that you now need more protein than you used to. You need it to arrive in bigger doses spread throughout the day, just to hold on to the muscle you already have. And this is not just to look good or toned or shapely or whatever you want to call it. Muscle is what protects your bones, your blood sugar, your metabolism, your balance, and your independence. Muscle is medicine, and protein is the raw material that you build it from. So if you're eating too little protein, you're not just not building muscle. You are slowly but surely losing the muscle you have at the exact stage of life when you can least afford to. So that's the problem. Now, here's how we fix it. Rule number 1, and every other rule depends on this, is you need your number. You can't hit a target that you have not defined. And I try to eat protein is not a target. That is just wishful thinking. Here is what I use with my clients. About 1 gram of protein per pound of your adjusted body weight every day. Now, you may have heard that you should base your protein goal on your actual weight, like what the scale is reading today. Or you may have heard that you should base it on your ideal body weight. So adjusted body weight is actually just somewhere in between those 2 numbers. And this is why I go with that. Fat tissue is not metabolically hungry like muscle is, so we don't need to feed it. So if you have a significant amount of fat to lose, calculating off your total scale weight gives you a protein target that's a lot higher than your body actually needs, and honestly, probably a lot higher than most women can actually eat in a day. But if you go all the way down to your ideal weight, you're probably going to undershoot because right now you're carrying and moving a body that's bigger than that, and you have to give it enough protein to be able to hold on to the muscle it already has. So the adjusted body weight kind of splits the difference, and it's a target built for the body, both that you have today and the body that you're building toward. If you're not a math person, don't worry. I am not either. I'm not going to make you do any math. I have a free calculator on my website that will do this for you in about 2 seconds, and I've put the link below. But to give you a rough sense of what we're talking about, for a lot of the women I work with, their number lands somewhere between around 120 and 140 grams of protein a day. Now, when I say that number to a new client, the reaction is almost always the same. It's something like, there is no way I'm eating anywhere near that right now. Most women I talk to are usually eating somewhere between 50 and 70 grams a day and are actually shocked to learn that they're eating about half of what they really should be. So before you change anything about how you're eating, I recommend you spend just a couple days writing down what you actually eat, and don't judge yourself. We're just collecting data. What gets measured gets managed. Rule number 2, this is the one that I said that I would never break. And if you take only one thing from this video, make it this one. Eat 30 grams of protein within 60 minutes of waking up. I call this the 30 in 60 rule. Here's why this matters so much more than most people realize. That first meal sets your metabolic tone for the whole day. When you have 30 grams of protein in the morning, it stabilizes your blood sugar and it flips the switch on muscle repair. And this part is what surprises people the most. It dramatically reduces your cravings at night. Yes, what you eat at 7 o'clock in the morning is largely deciding whether you're going to be standing in front of your pantry at 9 o'clock at night. Now, I know what you're thinking right now because it's what I hear from everyone. I'm not that hungry in the morning. I know. But here's the thing. You are not that hungry in the morning because you ate most of your food at night. The way out of this loop is to load up on protein first thing, feel genuinely full throughout the afternoon, and then stop feeling absolutely starving by dinner. So what does 30 grams of protein at breakfast actually look like? A cup of non-fat Greek yogurt with some hemp hearts and berries, that's about 30. 3 eggs with an ounce of cheddar cheese and spinach on whole wheat toast is about 30. A cup of low-fat cottage cheese with a hard-boiled egg and some veggies is about 30. Or if mornings are just really way too hectic for you, a scoop of protein powder, a cup of milk, half a banana, and a tablespoon of peanut butter thrown in a blender is about 30 grams at least and takes just a couple minutes. This does not have to be so hard. Pick 2 to 3 that you love and rotate them and then cross off worrying about breakfast from your list. Now, hitting your number in the morning is one thing, but another big thing is how you spread it out. And this is where almost everyone, including the women who are really trying, get it wrong. Rule number 3 is your protein should be spread out throughout the day as evenly as possible. Here's some super useful physiology that I want to share. Some proteins contain a very special amino acid called leucine. Leucine is the switch. It's what tells your body we can build and repair muscle now. And your body can't make leucine on its own like it can make many other amino acids. It has to come from food. So to flip that switch, you need to get about 3 to 4 grams of leucine in a single sitting. And to get that, you typically need about 30 grams of high quality protein in that one meal. That's where that magic number 30 comes from. Okay, so think about what this actually means. If you eat a meal with only 10 or 15 grams of protein, you may not flip the switch at all. Your body's still getting the protein and it can use it for some helpful things, but it never gets the signal to start building muscle. So a woman who eats 1 egg and a piece of toast for breakfast, a small salad with a little chicken for lunch, and then tries to make up for it with 60 grams of protein at dinner has technically eaten a pretty decent amount of protein that day, but she only flipped that muscle building switch one time. Meanwhile, a woman eating 30 grams of protein at breakfast, 40 at lunch, and then 40 at dinner flipped it 3 times. Take a guess who will be trading fat for muscle and who will be trading muscle for fat. This is why you should eat protein across 3 to 4 evenly spaced meals and not arranging your day with barely any in the morning and all of it at night. And after menopause, when you're already less efficient at repair, flipping that switch consistently throughout the day, every day, matters more than it ever has. 4 is assist in the repair. When you finish a hard strength session or HIIT workout, you just caused damage to your muscle. That's how it works. The tissue gets damaged and then later gets repaired bigger and stronger. But immediately after your workout, your body is in a breakdown state, waiting for the raw material so it can rebuild. And in that short time frame, right after the workout ends, your muscle is the most receptive it will be all day. So you can think of it like a door that opens after you train. Your muscle cells are primed, blood flow is up, and the nutrients that you eat get pulled straight into repair. But this is what nobody tells women your age. For men and for younger women, that door stays open for a long time. Hours. They can finish a workout, shower, run errands, eat a couple hours later, and still get most of the benefit. And that's why a lot of the advice you hear online says that the timing doesn't really matter that much. And for the person who gives that advice, that's usually the case. But after 40-ish and definitely by 50, things have changed. After menopause, your muscle is less responsive to protein. So for you, that door doesn't stay wide open for hours. It actually starts closing much sooner. add it to the list of things that are unfair. So that means you really want to take advantage of that window. We call that the anabolic window, and anabolic means building. So here's the rule. 30 to 40 grams of high quality protein as close to the end of your workout as you can manage. You want to aim for about within 30 minutes. So for the same effort in the gym, eating the same food, just eaten sooner after your workout, you get more muscle out of it. This is actually one time where a protein shake is a pretty good option, in my opinion, despite the fact that it's a processed food and we want to limit processed foods as much as we can. But I do like protein shakes sometimes right after a workout because they're fast, they're absorbed quickly, and they're ready to go. And most of them don't need to be refrigerated, so they can just sit in the gym locker or your car. By the way, what we're talking about today is just the protein piece of the puzzle. If you ever want the whole system, the protein, strength training, and the exact daily habits that rebuild your metabolism after 50, I put it all in my book, Your Metabolic Reboot. But listen, it is not a quick fix if that's what you're looking for. It is a sustainable lifestyle approach that, when done right, works surprisingly fast. I left the link below. Okay, that's all 4 rules. So now let's see what that actually looks like translated to a day of eating. Breakfast, 30 grams. We already covered it. Something like Greek yogurt, eggs, cottage cheese, or a shake, always within an hour of waking up. Lunch, 30 grams. Many women have a healthy salad with plenty of seeds and nuts and cheese and maybe a small dose of chicken or fish. But these tend to be very high in calories because seeds, nuts, and cheese have a very high calorie to volume ratio and very low in protein. Try these instead. 4 to 5 ounces of chicken over a big salad with quinoa and chickpeas. A whole can of tuna or salmon mixed with Greek yogurt instead of mayo on whole grain bread. A lentil bowl with lentils, feta, quinoa over a salad with some lemon. Cottage cheese with tomatoes, olive oil, and pepper, with a couple hard-boiled eggs on the side. A burrito bowl with 4 to 5 ounces of chicken or beef, black beans, brown rice, salsa, and avocado. Turkey and cheese roll-ups with hummus and veggies. And for the woman with no time, a protein shake plus a handful of almonds and an apple. Here's the rule for lunch. If there is not a substantial amount of protein on the plate, it's not lunch. That's your side dish. For snacks, aim for something like 15 to 20 grams. Snacks are a super helpful way to get in more protein during the day and get you to your daily goal. Some snack options: Greek yogurt with hemp hearts, a couple hard-boiled eggs with string cheese, a cup of roasted edamame, cottage cheese with berries, and then dinner will be about 30 to 40 grams. So notice dinner is now the same size as your other meals, which means it is no longer carrying the responsibility of your whole day's worth of protein. Dinner could be something like 4 to 6 ounces of chicken, turkey, fish, or a lean beef, or if you're plant-based, a whole lot of tofu, tempeh, or lentils. If you'd rather just eyeball, do half your plate full of colorful veggies, a quarter of the plate protein, and a quarter whole grains or starchy veggies. That's it. That's the whole thing. Breakfast, lunch, snack, dinner, and you've easily gotten between 100 and 140 grams. Now let me tell you what I would stop doing, because unfortunately, some of the most popular advice out there is actually working against you. 1, I would stop fasting through my morning. Intermittent fasting is everywhere, and I understand the appeal. But if you're a woman over 50 and you're trying to hold on to muscle, skipping the meal that sets your metabolic tone for the day and flips your first muscle switch of the day is not going to help you. It also squashes up your eating window, so hitting your daily protein target becomes that much harder. Number 2, I would stop under eating all day and then binging at night. Yes, I see you. That is the book-ending trap, and it is the single most common pattern that I see. And it doesn't just cost you muscle, it raises your stress hormones, it makes it harder for you to fall asleep, it can reduce your time spent in deep sleep and REM, and it will keep you feeling not so hungry in the mornings, which is what we're trying to fix. Number 3, I would stop calling it clean eating when it's really just not enough food. A day of salads and a handful of nuts is not discipline. It is underfueling. And your body responds to that by hanging on to fat and letting go of muscle. You gotta believe me on this one. Lastly, I would stop using my weight alone as the metric for progress. Muscle weighs more than fat. And if you're doing this right, the scale is going to be very unreliable. You should measure your waist instead, take progress pictures, notice how your clothes are fitting. Those things are reliable. I'm telling you, this stuff is not trendy or sexy, but it's not complicated, and it definitely doesn't require any extremes or cutting out anything you love from your diet entirely. It's just about eating enough real food with quality sources of protein all throughout the day. That's the whole secret. So here's your recap. Know your number, about 1 gram of protein per pound of adjusted body weight, and you can use the calculator I'm linking below. 30 grams of protein within an hour of waking up every day. At least 30 grams with each meal, 3 to 4 times a day. So you flip that muscle switch several times, not just once in the evening. A snack with some protein to fill in any gaps. And 30 to 40 grams after your workout to take advantage of that short sweet spot. And if you want to do this without any numbers, make half your plate veggies, a quarter protein, and a quarter whole grains. Now, before we go, I want to be really clear about why this matters so much, because it is not about being smaller. Protein is the raw material for muscle, and muscle is what protects your bones, keeps your blood sugar in check, keeps your immune system functioning well, and also helps you carry your groceries, get up off the floor, play with your kids and grandkids. This can absolutely become your normal routine. You are not too old for this. Your body has not stopped responding. It just needs you to actually feed it properly. Now, everything we just talked about is in my free guide down in the description, and you can think of that like a quick summary of this video. It includes how to get your number, all the rules, plus a bunch of ready-to-go options for each meal and snacks, each one hitting 30 grams. I recommend you get it now before you forget. And if you want a plan built around your unique body, history, lifestyle, and goals, the link for that is down there too. I'm Dr. Rachel Felber, ER doctor and women's strength coach. Thank you for watching. Hit subscribe and I'll see you in the next one.